Hi everyone, it's Father Rendell Torres. Just wanted to invite you to a Eucharistic procession that we're going to be having between two of our parishes. As you might know, I'm the rector of the Cathedral and also the pastor of Historic St. Mary's and St. Francis of Assisi Parish. And we're going to have a Eucharistic procession, which is a beautiful event, a beautiful practice of the Christian Catholic Church since the 13th century. And essentially what we're going to do is we're going to celebrate the Most Holy Mass at Historic St. Mary's at 8 a.m. on Sunday. And then at the Mass, we're going to consecrate the bread, which will become the living body of Christ. And he can do this because he's God. And he said at the Last Supper, "This is my body, which will be given up for you." And so Christians from the beginning always understood that to mean that he really is present in a mysterious but very real, substantial way. And so as Christians began to understand this, they began actually to worship God in Jesus, in the Eucharist. And one of the beautiful practices that developed from this was the idea of Eucharistic processions. So at the Mass, we're going to celebrate the Mass and we're going to consecrate the host. And Jesus Christ will change it into his living person. And then we'll bring him out of the church after the Mass and process with him out of the church into these streets here of Albany. Because the idea is that we want to bring Jesus so that he can be out in the world and live where we live and walk where we walk. So we're going to be walking with God and he's going to be walking with us, so to speak. And so we'll be walking along the streets of Albany asking the Lord to just bless everyone, no matter their religion or no matter what they believe, just to bless them and give them hope and joy and life. And so I invite you to join us, and we're going to just walk along the street and make our way throughout the city of Albany from Historic St. Mary's to our beautiful cathedral. The cathedral is a mother church, and in a very appropriate way, it kind of represents the mother of Jesus bringing her children together to worship her son, the only one who can really give us all the joy, the hope, and the happiness, the satisfaction that we desire and that we're made for. And so we're going to be processing with the Blessed Sacrament here, and we're going to go up the stairs here and then enter the church. And when we enter the church, we'll be placing the Lord in a beautiful monstrance, this golden vessel, upon the altar upon which we celebrate the holy sacrifice of the Mass. And we'll be having music and prayers and the rosary and many other beautiful devotions during this time of adoration between about 9:15 and the 11 a.m. Sunday Mass. And then the adoration will flow into the Sunday Mass. And then at the end of Mass, it'll flow back into adoration for the whole afternoon until the 5 p.m. evening Mass. And at 4 o'clock, confessions will be available, and there will be the rosary again at 4:30. So in any case, I invite you to just join us for the procession and this very beautiful event, which will bring so many graces and blessings to our city. Later in the week, there will also be, starting Thursday evening, what's called a 40 hours devotion, during which we will have 40 hours of continuous adoration of Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament. That'll start with a Thursday evening Mass at 5:15 p.m., continue all night Thursday into Friday, all day, until a 5:15 p.m. Mass for the Solemnity of the Sacred Heart of Jesus on Friday evening at the Cathedral. And at the end of that Mass, we'll flow back into adoration all evening and all night, overnight, until Saturday morning, when we will celebrate finally the 9 o'clock Mass, which is for the Feast of the Immaculate Heart of Mary. And at that Mass, there will be many people who will be making their consecration to Jesus through Mary. And so again, I invite you to all of these events. It'll be great to be with you, where we can pray for the world, we can pray for our city, we can pray for each other, and most of all, give thanks to God. Take care. God bless you.